I'm one of the field application specialists for Australia and New Zealand. So since starting here, I've been lucky enough to be a part of the installation, the implementation. Unit, it has quite a big impact in a clinical setting when you're looking at the pandemic surges like we have seen, particularly in Victoria and whatnot. So the way that that's possible, basically the instrument eliminates the need for manual handling. That makes sure that you've got minimising any errors. It also helps with turnaround because it gives time back to the users. The extraction material is compatible with a lot of those which are already placed in laboratories. So once the material has been extracted, load that straight on board. Also PCR plates, it's compatible with LC480s, CFXs, ABIs and yeah, all the different variations of the 96 and 384 plates. And then finally, they've just got to load on the reagents for the user to do. They just need to thaw the sample, spin it down, uncap it and load it on. The instrument is a 96 protocol, that's delivering 96 samples. That takes about 18 minutes and the longer protocol is about 31 minutes and that's a 192 sample. And that's dispensing 8 samples simultaneously. So it's just removing the lengthy process you would take if you were doing this manually. So not only does that give back time to the user, but it also alleviates sort of any RSI related issues that you would have from the repetitive notion of pipetting all those samples.
This is my universe, DNA and RNA. That's everything that I know and love, and what I love the most is inventing new technology. So there's only really a few things that you ever really need to know or want to know about. Firstly, is the DNA of the organism present? So a couple of things that we can diagnose if we find it is the SARS-CoV-2 or chlamydia. So if the sequence for the specific organism is there, that's the diagnosis done. Other times we're asking, is the DNA mutated or is it perfectly normal? If we can find one of these mutations, it can tell us actually which therapy to use. So this is true for human cancer. It's called companion diagnostic. So you do the diagnostic and it tells you. And the third question that you might want to know, is the DNA actively producing RNA? Is your organism alive? Because there is actually a risk of treating sexually transmitted infections because, in fact, you are picking up just bits of residual dead bacteria.
So I look after manufacturing operations as well as supply chain. So what we have here is going to house a ISO class clean room so that we can build in an all-purpose manufacturing floor. The design of the production floor is going to be open space, so we can wheel in and wheel out the machinery as required. We will be using quite a lot of automation. Right now, you don't see a lot because it's an open canvas at the moment. What's behind it is going to be able to facilitate, I think we're aiming for more than 4 million tests per week.
He is a Gadigal elder and a custodian of this land, and we are honoured with his presence.
Thank you. Minister, been a bloody long time, mate. Absolutely. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for my first song, I'm kidding. Married man, not kidding. 10 children, 26 grandchildren, and 14 great-great-grandchildren. Born and bred 200 yards away from here. Beautiful downtown Redfern, the capital of Sydney.
Still is.
It's always an honour and pleasure for me to welcome one and all to the country. Just to give you a little bit of an insight of where you are and who we are. As we've all welcomed the countries, first and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge our Aboriginal elders, all elders, past and present, and pay my respects to all our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander brothers and sisters. From whatever Aboriginal or island nation you may have come from, welcome to Gadigal. And to all our non-Indigenous brothers and sisters here today, a very warm and sincere welcome to you to Gadigal. No matter where you've come from, whether it be across the seas, across the state or across town, once again, a very warm and sincere welcome to you to Gadigal. And as I've mentioned many times before, was, is, and always will be Aboriginal land. Only three things shorter than that: coming, taxation and going. It's an honour and pleasure to be here today to welcome one and all to Gadigal. Gadigal is one of 29 clans of the Eora Nation. The Eora Nation is bounded by nature's own. The Hawkesbury River to the north, the Peden to the west, and Georges River to the south. And in between those three mighty rivers is the Eora Nation. And in that nation, there are 29 clans. And the clan's land we're on today is Gadigal. On behalf of members of the Metropolitan and Local Aboriginal Land Council and of the Gadigal mob, once again, a very warm and sincere welcome to you to Gadigal. There's an old Aboriginal saying out there, I think it's very appropriate for you mob here today. They say where there's a will, there's relatives. So once again, on behalf of the Land Council and of the Gadigal mob, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Allen, and hello everyone. I'm Madeline O'Donoghue, Global Marketing Director here at SpeeDx. And I want to thank you all very much for taking the time in your day to be here with us today. Today is a celebration of a SpeeDx milestone, a showcase of this space that we built to support our rapid growth and evolution. This year we were recognised as Company of the Year at the Oz Biotech and Johnson & Johnson Industry Awards. And what a perfect recognition for all of our hard work over the years. And there's no better way to fully appreciate just how far we've come than from the words of our founders, Professor Alison Todd and Dr. Elisa McCain. Their homegrown technology, which is the backbone of all SpeeDx tests, has allowed us to spearhead global change in the way diagnostics are used for infectious diseases. From providing key information to clinicians to help them choose effective antibiotic treatment, to more recently, providing a way to cheaply and rapidly identify key COVID-19 variants. Yes, even the Omicron variant. Just using standard laboratory equipment. And as you will learn if you take a tour of the facility, future SpeeDx products will evolve just as we have, based on the next generation technology that is coming out of Alison's innovations. So to hear their story, please join me in welcoming our founders, Alison Todd and Elisa McCain.
As always, we come as a double act. 21 years ago, Elisa and I started working together in the field of molecular diagnostics. It was a time of constant invention and reinvention that saw our technologies used in Johnson & Johnson labs around the world. The 2008 GFC brought this all to an abrupt halt, but we believed there was enormous potential in our tech, and so we embarked on the ambitious undertaking to commercialise it ourselves, suddenly landing in unknown territory as entrepreneurs. We were repeatedly told that only a small percentage of biotech startups succeed, but buoyed by our earlier achievements, we founded SpeeDx in 2009 as a vehicle to apply our inventions to personalised clinical diagnostics, to maximise impact and help people in their time of need. Our beginnings were very humble. We were four relatively naive scientists huddled in a tiny office in Cicada, surrounded by boxes of unwanted consumables salvaged from J&J. One of our first jobs was to design a logo, which was promptly and appropriately binned as soon as we could afford much needed professional help. Growing SpeeDx has been a lot of hard work, but also lots of fun, and certainly very gratifying. Most particularly, I derive enormous pleasure from nurturing my postdoctoral students and watching all of the fabulous speedsters grow and blossom professionally.
Our success is very much a reflection of the highly motivated and passionate team who have joined us on our journey. A lot of them are with us in the room today. We all work very hard together, and I'm very proud of what our team achieves, particularly as Australia does not have a strong track record of commercialising deep tech on home soil. We continue to invent and create differentiating products which address unmet medical needs of a global significance. This pandemic has really highlighted the drive and resilience of our staff who have worked long hours, sometimes 7 days a week, not because they were asked to, but because they really believed in what they were doing. At SpeeDx, this is true for all levels. During this time, our esteemed CFO, Bhavin Raval, has been seen folding product inserts, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time working in the production lab labelling tubes so we can keep up with demand for our kits. This passion our staff place into their every task and the drive to make a difference to patient outcome leads into one of my proudest moments at SpeeDx. We were sitting in the offices in the US of a global diagnostic juggernaut discussing partnerships, and they requested that our name go on the box, not theirs, as we had the bigger name in STIs. I was floored by this statement, but it was really well earned, as this has come about by creating such an impact with our tests that incorporate antimicrobial resistance.
The SpeeDx of today is beyond our wildest dreams, and we are incredibly grateful to all the people who have helped us help make this happen. There are far too many of you to mention, but special thanks goes to Susan Pond for encouraging us to take the initial leap of faith, to Andy Denver, who adeptly guided us through those early days and is still on our journey, to Andy Jane, Bianca Ogden and Mike Rubin for believing us and backing us with venture capital, to Tony Penner and Anne O'Neill for staunch support against the odds, to Topaz Conway for mentorship, and last but certainly not least, to Sally Ann Williams, her team and her predecessors, who have accelerated and supported our expansion and growth from within Cicada Innovations. Lisa and I are both optimistic and excited about the future and can't wait to see what the next chapter brings.
Hon Denver joined SpeeDx in 2015 as the company was transitioning from licensing our technology to existing service providers into a true commercial entity, developing, manufacturing and distributing our own SpeeDx diagnostic tests. Colin stepped into the role of CEO in 2016, and with him at the helm, SpeeDx has enjoyed exponential growth, partnering with key diagnostic partners including Cepheid and Roche, as well as supporting some of the largest diagnostics laboratories in the world with our tests and technology. Please welcome Colin Denver, who will share his vision for where SpeeDx is heading now and into the future.
As you've heard, from humble beginnings, our technology has proven its utility time and again. It is the best multiplex diagnostic technology in PCR. It is the best technology for detecting disease mutations. It is the best technology for monitoring infection. And this has led to some fantastic partnerships with some of the world's largest diagnostic providers. The global pandemic has presented challenges that we are exceptionally well suited to address. It has allowed the skill of our team and the value of our diagnostic technology to shine. And it is our great honour to welcome Minister Hazzard to open this facility, as he was present at our last significant inflection point that has set us on the course we are today. Though we've been well supported by the New South Wales Government through the wonderful Medical Device Fund and more recently the Jobs Plus program, I feel it is now our time to deliver on the faith that has been shown. Our export sales continue to grow, but it is here in New South Wales that I feel we can make the greatest impact. Creating sovereign capability and capacity to deal with the twists and turns of the current pandemic and whatever new infectious challenge may come in the future. And we're creating an ecosystem of innovation that will continue to create high-value jobs not only within SpeeDx, but across the Australian continent, which we can all agree is important now more than ever. I feel very proud to stand here today as part of such an amazing team, supported by amazing partners, and on the cusp of an amazing future, enabled by this amazing facility. Thank you. I hope you have an amazing afternoon.
Our special guest today is the Honourable Brad Hazzard, Member for Wakehurst and New South Wales Minister for Health and Medical Research. Part of today's celebration recognises our recent growth, which saw a 50% increase in staff just in the past year. Construction underway to expand our manufacturing capacity to over 4 million tests per week. This scale is integral to our mission of supporting Australia's sovereign capability in key diagnostic services. And what better way to recognise that than with the official sponsor of our facility launch. I present the New South Wales Health Minister, the Honourable Brad Hazzard.
That's a bit disappointing. Thanks very much, Madeline. And can I start by just acknowledging the traditional owners of the land upon which this incredible SpeeDx facility is built, and that is, of course, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and thank them for their custodianship for about 60,000 years. And if Uncle Allen is still here, Uncle Allen, we have known each other for a long while, and thank you for that very warm and funny welcome to country. He's a guy with a great sense of humour, but also a great sense of understanding of the cultural contribution of the Aboriginal people to our continent. Alison, Elisa, founders, Colin and Andrew, and all of the team that is here at SpeeDx. Can I just say what a privilege it is to be here. Tony Penner, of course, from the government's very important Office of Medical Research, has certainly impressed upon me the work that SpeeDx has been doing. And to think that in the most difficult of times, you've doubled the number of staff in the last 12 months. I think we might come back and work out how you've done all that. That's pretty amazing. Gabrielle Upton, of course, and Gabrielle Upton's also the Parliamentary Secretary to the Premier. So she and I have been working a lot on how we support innovation in research across a whole range of areas. But to know and understand the work that's going on here from what is basically a marriage between a molecular biology scientist and a geneticist, we're standing at the back there. Mind you, I was a little worried when Elisa told me that she used to spend some time at the Royal Hotel at Randwick when she was at University of New South Wales. I can only think that we're a little bit different in age, but the Royal was still very relevant when I was there. A lot of work was done at the Royal, a lot of work was done. But to think that the marriage of these two co-founders has now brought us to where we are in terms of the incredible steps forward in the diagnostic capacity that has been realised through SpeeDx is certainly an important part of what our government is seeking to achieve in supporting innovative biological, scientific, generally, innovation. You know, it's embarrassing. I was just telling Alison, who was explaining to me that Lisa was her PhD student, but I was just saying it was a bit embarrassing that when I was at university studying biology, they did actually study it when I was at university, it was actually the Watson and Crick theoretical model of DNA. How embarrassing. And now, of course, the entire human genome has been identified, and I've got to tell you, in the last 21 months, if we had not had the capacity that we have to do genomic sequencing of this very variable COVID virus, we would not have been able to manage as well as we have worldwide, but particularly here in New South Wales. I know Vitaly at New South Wales Pathology has told me of a lot of the diagnostic capacity that has come from the partnership with SpeeDx, and I appreciate that very much. Elisa, I'm not sure that if I was a politician and somebody said to me that I could have my name on a box because I knew a lot about STIs, that would not be good. but I get it. Just a slight difference in perspective. But also the work that you're doing, I mean, Alison mentioned cicada. Cicada, of course, is one of those opportunities that scientists have when in fact they might be very good scientists, very good researchers, very innovative, but they don't quite know how to bring their particular innovation to market. And I know the former Minister, Gillian Skinner, who I followed now about 5 years ago, Gillian had put quite a bit of money into cicada because there was an early recognition of the need to be able to support companies, businesses, innovators who were trying to get their products to market and really had no idea how to do the pitch, how to bring anything together really in that sense. And in a sense, I actually thought that was a joy. Science is a pure endeavour. Bringing things to market is not always that pure, but it's necessary. And certainly when I was in Israel, I visited them to look at a number of issues and what they were doing there also incentivised me to make sure that we continue to support our innovative research companies, research organisations here to make sure that we as a government continue to empower them to bring their products to market. SpeeDx, I think where you have come from since 2009 and where you are now, quite remarkable. It is an outstanding achievement to have doubled the staff in the last 12 months, and I suspect that if I went and have a look, and I'm hoping to have a look shortly, I'll find almost everybody out the back there is probably under the age of about 30 or 30, yep. But it is so exciting, and to know that there's such a powerful capacity in our young people, provided we give them the environment to be inspiring in their research. So I look forward to actually seeing the actual setup here in a few minutes. But today, my formal role was, first of all, to say you're amazing. Thank you very much. I don't think the Royal really did do a lot of good for you, but nevertheless, probably would have happened 10 years ago, right, rather than the brain cells that were killed up at the Royal. No, I'm kidding. It is an amazing outcome, and I wish you well, and to all of the board, to Andrew and Colin and both of you, but all of the board and everybody else who's working here, I wish you speed well, and certainly now formally launch and open, obviously been open for a while, but formally launch and open this magnificent new facility. And may you sail well and come up with amazing outcomes for the community. We can use every outcome we can possibly get in scientific research for our community. So thank you very much.